Have you ever thought, why is the traditional family seem to be collapsing? Why is marriage getting to be less and less? Why are more unborn children in single-parent family homes? Have you wondered why that there's nearly 15,000 churches that will close this year alone in the United States? Have you wondered why there's people who are having less and less faith in their country and wondering if it can protect them and the freedoms in which they hold so dear? Have you ever wondered why maybe things seem a little more chaotic, that the world seems to be at war or rumors of wars, and there seems to be many things that threaten us, our future, both physically and spiritually, and what the future will bring? If you always wondered these things, have you wondered why all four of these pillars of freedoms, faith, family, and future seem to be crumbling at the same time? Well, it's not an accident, but it is a choice, and a choice that we can still reverse.
Arise! 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 For freedom's cause, prepared and prospering for all. For freedom's life! Arise!
Welcome to Arise for Freedoms, where we learn about the things that threaten our freedoms, our faith, our families, and our future, and transform our lives to arise, prepare, and thrive in a troubled world. We don't just survive. Together, we thrive.
Welcome, friends of freedom. If you've ever felt like the ground underneath your family or the traditional family, your faith or America's faith, and your freedom is shifting beneath your very feet, you're not imagining it, and you're not alone. The data backs you up. And today I'll show you exactly why. I'm Colonel Griffith, retired. I'm a retired senior military officer, a former judge, a JROTC instructor, and a disciple of Jesus Christ. And together we'll unite to change the world. You are listening to the only show that prepares you to be free, increase your faith, strengthen your family, and build a prosperous and prepared future. These are the four pillars of Arise for Freedoms. This episode today is for anyone who has sensed that the family unit, marriage, faith, or the values it teaches, and trust in the country and what it represents, or the dangers that are out there in this world as viruses grow, as weapons get bigger, and as the world seems to get in ever greater chaos. If you've wondered why all these are unraveling at once and if there's really anything you can do about it, well, I got something to tell you. There is something you can still do about it, and it's definitely worth fighting for. So, spoiler alert, there is something you can do, and it starts with you. Friends of Freedom, today we're going to answer the one question of why Arise for Freedoms. Why should you arise for freedoms? Why should you do those things that need to be done? In our show today, we'll first look honestly at where our freedoms, faith, family, and future are, and how they are really under severe pressure more than ever before. But we knew these times would come. We're going to back it up with some of the numbers to prove it, that these things are under a pressure and attack like never before. Second, we'll apply what we've learned, and we'll show you exactly how to become part of the movement that's going to turn these things around. So please, like, subscribe, receive our free newsletter, and join our community as we promote faith, freedom, family, and a prosperous future across the world. The links can be found in the show notes. Now, let's get into it. So, our purpose today is to talk about these four foundational areas. There have been many of our forefathers that said the threats from within are much greater than the threats from without. But right now, freedom is getting attacked by both. Freedoms. According to the Partnership for Public Services survey, only 1 in 3 Americans, that's right, 1 in 3, or 33%, say they trust the federal government. We have seen bigger and bigger divide between the right and the left, and less common sense. Pew Research puts the long-run trust even lower than that. It drops it all the way down to 22%, among the worst readings in nearly 7 decades of polling. It's not just distrust of Washington. Pew also found that in 2022, 72% of Republicans and 63% of Democrats viewed the opposing party as immoral So in other words, they're demonizing one another. And that's up sharply from 47% and 35% in the past. We're not simply in disagreement anymore. We are literally dividing. We're becoming a nation once again divided against itself. As far as faith goes, the second pillar, Gallup has tracked church membership since 1937, when 73% of Americans belong to a church, a synagogue, or a mosque, you name it. But there was a faith-based back to America and to what we were and what we stood for and what we were becoming. We understood the necessity of these things in our lives. And because of that, this country has continued to prosper and do well. That number stayed at nearly 70% for 6 decades. Today, it has fallen below half for the first time in Gallup's history at 47%. Weekly attendance has slid from 42% 2 decades ago to just 3 in 10 today. The share of Americans who say religion is an important part of their daily life has dropped 17 points in just 10 years, from 66% in 2015 to 49% in 2025. Industry estimates suggest that roughly 15,000 congregations may close their doors this year alone. There's only a handful of Christian churches, like the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Seventh-day Adventist, and a few others who are actually growing in numbers, and some of your grand mega churches. But your traditional faiths or your traditional Protestant faiths, many of them, are diminishing in membership day by day. I want to get America back, and I know you do too. We all want to get to that point where we will choose this day whom we will serve. And as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Now, family. The total fertility rate in the United States now sits roughly at 1.6 to 1.8 births per woman, well below the 2 needed to replace our population. That is causing strains on our Social Security, along with our national debt, excess spending. 40% of children were born last year to unmarried parents, or at least in 2022, and that number has only been growing as far as I know. And for the first time on record, more American adults aged 18 to 44 than ever before are cohabitating, 59%. More cohabitating than married. Married women still have children at more than double the rate of unmarried women, but fewer people are choosing marriage at all. And 40% of all children are being born into fatherless homes, leading to more drug use, gang involvement, crime, and social problems. We are taught in the book of Mosiah, ye will teach them to walk in the ways of their truth and soberness, to love one another and to serve one another. As our children are taught or not taught, so goes the nation. Finally, our future, the fourth pillar. Gallup's August 2025 poll found that favorable view of capitalism has fallen to 54%, the lowest in decades and decades of polling, down from 60% in 2021, and it's been dropping steadily since 2016. Among adults from 18 to 34, only 43% view capitalism positively, while 49% now view socialism favorably. Folks, that's scary. That puts freedom itself in jeopardy, and only one generation away unless we do something about it. Belief in the American dream itself has been shaken. Other recent polling finds 7 in 10 adults say they've lost faith that hard work and good values pay off. So why does that matter? Because it's not true. We must teach the truth and change the mentality in order to ensure that our great country continues to prosper. Many civilizations have fallen in the past, great countries, empires. These 4 numbers are not separate problems. They're one story. A nation doesn't lose its freedom, its faith, its families, and its future all at once by accident. It happens pillar by pillar, wrong belief after wrong belief, lie after lie, generation by generation, until people start noticing what's being lost. When trust collapses, when churches close, when marriage becomes the exception instead of the norm, when the child is born without the guidance of parents, when half of our young adults see no real difference between freedom and socialism, that's not a decline. That's a vacuum. And a vacuum will always get filled with something else that comes and takes its place. Usually that means more government, more crime, more cynicism, more division, and it's rarely something better. One clear takeaway is that a nation doesn't collapse in a single day. None of the great civilizations in the past went away in a day. They erode little by little, and in our case, pillar by pillar. And right now, all four are cracking at once. That's exactly why this show and this movement and the need for you exists. Now, if you will, stick with me, because part 2 of this show is exactly what you and your family need to do starting this week for us to help reverse this trend throughout the nation.
If you want any of our free materials to help you, or if you love your freedom, your faith, your family, and want a brighter future, like, subscribe, and get our free Freedoms newsletter to help your faith, family, and future. You can join us without any financial obligation. Just become part of our family, creating a better future. Join us at ARISE4freedoms.com. That's arise4freedoms.com. Together, we'll make the world a better place. Now, let's get back to the show.
So, answering the call, what do we need to do to step up, to arise for the very freedoms that have allowed us to prosper more than any nation that has ever existed on the planet? Has allowed us to have freedoms that are far beyond and have set the example for so many other countries, have helped the world avoid Nazism, has helped the world avoid total dominance by communism, and really was founded with faith, family, and freedom, and a hope of brightness of what the future could give. Now, none of these 4 trends are irreversible. Every single one of them is a sum of individual households making individual choices, individual votes, individual differences, individual, need I say it, wrongdoing. That means a reversal can come the same way, one household at a time. So this week's focus is on picking one of the 4 pillars of freedom, faith, family, and future, and starting today. Freedom is the trust. It is a trust that is rebuilt locally, not nationally. Show up at your school board, your city council, your precinct, your whatever it may be. Vote, be involved. We can differ on what that is, but we can also be civil, and we can disagree, but we don't need to be disagreeable. Our forefathers disagreed, and they come up with an amazing document called the Constitution that created a way for a brighter future as the people changed. Number 2, faith. Return to regular worship, or bring your family back to whatever you've drifted from. Always be looking for something brighter, better, and beyond yourself. Teach your children scripture and doctrine. The pews are empty. They need to be full. The world needs you. Your children need you. And your examples or lack thereof will impact them for decades to come, for a life to come. And it will also impact their children's children. Family. Prioritize marriage. Prioritize sacrifice. Prioritize giving for one another. Is it easy? No. But there's never a bigger blessing than a unified family. Time over convenience and career alone. Give time, give love, protect weekly family time. It's sacred, it's not optional. I remember with one of our neighbors, we have something every week that we call family home evening. And even though she wasn't of our faith, in fact, she was Jewish, she came over and she saw what our family did on that day, and then she created a family day for her own family. She wrote my wife, Michelle, not too long ago and told her, "Thank you so much. We still do this or have family home evening to this very day." Your example not only can change your family and your family's future, but many others with the light that shines from within you. Future. Build a financial preparedness margin. More Americans are in debt today than ever before. The country is in bigger debt than ever before. These can lead to hardship and inability to do what is needed when hard and difficult times that we know are ahead will arrive. Reject the fatalism that says America's dream is over. It isn't. But it does require deliberate effort. It does require some sacrifice. It does require doing the right things for a brighter future. So here are your action steps for the week. Share this episode with at least one person who's given up hope on these 4 pillars: freedom, faith, family, or future. Choose one pillar this week and take concrete steps, small and simple steps, to attend a worship service, plan a dedicated family night, write your local representative, get involved, but get involved in a way that creates conversation, interaction, and building and understanding, not hate and anger, not marching down a road and kicking in windows and burning and screaming that, oh, everybody's evil. No, law, order, and involvement. Open a preparedness fund, if you will. Start building that little by little, that bank account for that emergency or rainy day. Third, subscribe and join the free newsletter to keep you receiving the practical tools of all 4 pillars, not just this episode's topic. Trust in the federal government sits at just 33%, near a generational low. This week, get involved in one local institution, your church, your local school board, your neighborhood watch. Local is where freedom gets built first. And I would say even start at the home. As the home and as the family goes, so goes the community. And as the community goes, so goes the state. And as the state goes, so goes the nation. And as the nation goes, so goes the world. America is incredible. The family is incredible. And 2 of them strong and together can change the world. Quick recap is today we learned that freedom, faith, family, and future are all under real measurable pressure in America, more than ever before. And that erosion has happened one household at a time. It isn't something that's happened overnight or totally from outside. And what has come from outside often is let inside because of families who are not choosing the right things. More importantly, because we are doers of the word, your next step is simple. Pick one of the pillars. Take one action and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Let's start becoming what we need this world to be. Let's start doing what we need to do to change the world around us. So until next time, don't just survive, learn to thrive in a troubled world. Now go and make the world a better place. Strengthen your faith, strengthen your family, and may you be prepared and prosper in the future in freedom's light. Now arise for freedoms. Join us and make the world a better place. Good day.
Arise, arise, arise for freedom's call. For freedom's light, arise.
I want to thank you all for listening, and I hope you feel as passionate as I do about your faith, your freedom, your family, your future, and the future of this nation and of the world. Today, the citation count was some 13 sources that we cited today, all linked in the show notes, or can be obtained if you reach out and ask. For the YouTube viewers, if you want watching on YouTube, hit subscribe and turn on notification. We post weekly. I'm still trying to learn a lot about video editing, so I apologize, but we'll grow together. Podcast listeners, if you're listening on Buzzsprout or your favorite podcasting service, don't miss next week's episode where we go deep into one of these 4 pillars every week. And everyone, get our free newsletter at ariseforfreedoms.com. ARISE, number 4, and then freedoms.com. For free household materials and covering all these pillars as we slowly but surely put them out. Now go make the world a better place. Join us in any way you can, and I'd love to have you on the team. Survive and thrive in a troubled world. Good day.